Today I am sharing with you guys how I'm taking all of these groceries that I got for under $100 from Walmart and turning them into 2 breakfasts, 2 lunches, and 3 healthy dinners. Let's go. Hey guys, and welcome back to another video. I'm really excited to share today's video with you because I'm going to show you just how many meals you can get out of a grocery haul that is under $100. We all know that inflation is crazy right now, and grocery costs are something that if we put a little bit of work and thought into, we can actually save a lot of money. So out of today's grocery haul, I'm going to share with you guys how I'm making 2 breakfasts, 2 lunches, and 3 dinners for my family of 4, and there are definitely going to be leftovers as well, so you are not going to want to miss these ideas. For breakfast, we are going to be making some breakfast bento boxes. I am super excited about these. I've seen them all over social media but have never made any. We're also going to be doing some DIY yogurt parfaits. For lunches, we are going to be prepping some cool wraps with chicken and an avocado ranch dressing, as well as some turkey burrito bowls. And then for dinners, I am making an Instant Pot turkey meatball stroganoff. My family loves this. I make it all the time. I'm also going to be making some homemade broccoli cheese soup, as well as a chicken parm dinner. Tons of great family-friendly meal options in today's video. I'm also really excited to announce that today's video is sponsored by Walmart. I'm super excited to be working with them again because I use Walmart pretty much every single week of my life. You guys know that I love doing my grocery shopping there, but today I'm going to be sharing with you what I got for under $100 doing Walmart grocery pickup. Now, not only does Walmart grocery pickup save me a lot of time being a busy working mom, but I also find that it helps me stay on a budget as well because I can plan out what I want to buy. I see my total as I'm putting things in my cart, and it really curbs that impulse shopping that you sometimes experience while in the store. One of the things that I really love about Walmart is the affordability of their grocery items, especially their house brands. So Market Side, Great Value, you know, all of those Walmart house brands, you can purchase those for so much less than the brand name counterparts. And honestly, I have never been able to tell a difference. They are fantastic quality. You guys see me cooking with their stuff all the time. Their app is super easy to use, and they make it really easy to shop for groceries and other home essentials, and they offer both pickup and delivery. Walmart offers a wide variety of products that are both high quality and affordable. And today I'm going to share with you all of these ideas with my groceries because I know that you guys are all super busy as well. I'm a working mom. I work 40 plus hours a week. Plus I have a YouTube channel and I have to run my kids to soccer practice and swim at least 27 times a week. So definitely some ideas in this video that are going to be super quick, easy, and healthy as well. Last but not least, the best part is that Walmart is offering my viewers a discount. So there will be a link in the description box below. You can shop Walmart's online pickup or delivery to save time and money. Use the code TRIPLE10 to get $10 off your order of $50 or more. The link again will be in the description box below. Once again, the code is TRIPLE10 to save $10 on your online either delivery or pickup order of $50 or more. All right, so we're gonna jump into the grocery haul, and then next I'm gonna share with you all the meals that I made with these groceries. Okay, so let me just give you a brief overview of everything that I got from Walmart grocery pickup. I got tons of groceries and some household items. The grocery portion was less than $94, so that is a fantastic deal. I got a Caesar salad kit for one of the dinners, some green leaf lettuce for a couple of the lunch recipes, some broccoli. I'm gonna be making some broccoli cheddar soup for dinner, yum. Some fresh cilantro, fresh cucumber, some grape tomatoes, and some coleslaw. This is a great buy from Walmart. I typically get it there a lot when I want to either use this in recipes or coleslaw or whatever. I got some frozen green beans for a side for dinner, some strawberries, blueberries for breakfast recipe, some eggs. I got some Greek yogurt. This is the Chobani vanilla Greek yogurt, some heavy whipping cream for the broccoli cheese soup. This cilantro avocado dressing is awesome if you've never tried it, and it's lower calorie than most dressings because it's made with yogurt. I got some sour cream, some marinara sauce for chicken parm that we're gonna make, some breadcrumbs. I love this thin sliced chicken that you can get from Walmart. It's already basically trimmed and ready, so it saves a ton of time in the kitchen when you're going to make dinner. The ground turkey we're gonna use for a couple different recipes. I'm gonna be using this for some Southwest grain bowls for lunch, and then I'm also going to be making some turkey stroganoff meatballs for dinner. This is another great buy at Walmart. It is pulled rotisserie chicken. We're gonna be using these for a couple of lunch recipes that are really good. I can't wait to show you those. Some sharp cheddar cheese for broccoli cheese soup, some cheddar jack. I also got some thin spaghetti for chicken parm, some bread to go with our broccoli cheese soup. These lavash wraps are a great buy for lunches. They're super inexpensive and they're huge and they're really healthy. I also got some whole wheat egg noodles for the turkey meatball stroganoff, some seasoned black beans for my Southwest bowls, as well as some boil in the bag brown rice. I got some of this Nature Valley crunchy oats and honey granola. This is like the best granola you can buy, in my opinion. We're gonna be making some parfaits, some DIY parfaits with that. I also got some household items. Obviously, you can pick those up as well when you do Walmart grocery pickup, which is super convenient. I decided to try these Rubbermaid take-alongs. They're meal prep containers, and they basically come with one larger and one smaller portion in there. So I thought these would be good for a couple of items that I'm gonna be prepping for the week. I also wanted to try these take-alongs. They basically have a place for yogurt in the bottom and granola. Super easy to put together and have on hand. I grabbed also some of these meal prep containers. These are the Mainstays brand. They are very conveniently sized and perfect for lunch meal prep. We got some napkins because I was running low on those, some shampoo and conditioner. This is the tea tree mint. I really like that. I also needed a new pair of rubber gloves because my last pair broke. And then we got some treats for Murphy. Let's see if he wants one. Murphy, come here. You sit. Good boy. There you go. A lot of you were asking to see Murphy, so there you go. Okay, so we are making breakfast bento boxes. Have you guys ever heard of these before? They're super cute, quick to make, and it's a high protein, really healthy breakfast. So we're gonna start out with some eggs. We're gonna hard boil those. I've got some everything but the bagel seasoning here, some tomatoes, cucumber, an apple, and some peanut butter. And then we are going to make some savory cottage cheese bowls. Delicious. Have you guys seen these before or not? I actually forgot to add the cottage cheese to my Walmart pickup order, but thankfully I had some on hand. Okay, so I'm just gonna start by placing 8 eggs into my saucepan here. We're gonna use 2 for each bento box. Each of these meals I'm sharing with you today is gonna serve 4 people, and I'm gonna fill this up with water. I'm gonna put the lid on, bring this to a boil, and then after it is out of boil, I'm gonna turn the heat off, set a timer for 12 minutes, and they'll be done. I'm gonna go ahead and give my tomatoes and my cucumber a wash. Okay, so I've got a couple of bento boxes here. I'm gonna put my cottage cheese in first. So we're just gonna go with half a cup. Okay, my eggs are done, so I'm gonna go ahead and place them in this bowl with ice, and then I'll just fill it up with cold water and let them sit until they are completely cool. Okay, so while the eggs are cooling, I'm gonna work on the apple and peanut butter portion of these bento boxes. So I'm just gonna slice off the outside of this apple. I did wash it, and I'm gonna slice it in, I don't know, pretty thin pieces. And I've got a bowl here. In order to store these apples in the refrigerator and not have them brown, we're gonna soak them in some lemon water. Okay, so I'm just gonna use half of a lemon and squeeze that over here. And then I'm just gonna fill this bowl up to the top with cold water, let it sit for about 10 minutes, drain them, and then they will not brown in the refrigerator. Okay, so for the cottage cheese part, we're gonna go ahead and chop up this cucumber into bite-sized cubes. I like to make them pretty small, but you can make them as small or large as you want. And then I'm also gonna slice up some of my cherry tomatoes into bite-sized pieces as well. Okay, so next we'll add our apples with peanut butter. So I'm just gonna spoon, I don't know, a hunk of peanut butter into each of these. I went ahead and peeled my hard-boiled eggs. They're not gonna win a beauty contest, but that's fine. All taste the same. So you can see that these are perfectly cooked on the inside. The method is to bring them to a boil, shut the heat off, and then let them sit for 10 to 12 minutes in the water and then cool them completely. So I'm gonna add these into the other portion of the bento box, 2 eggs each. All right, so here are our breakfast bento boxes. Super healthy, quick, easy, cheap to put together. Highly recommend you guys do these. So we've got a couple different kinds here. Here are the ones with the savory cottage cheese bowls, a couple hard-boiled eggs. I sprinkled some everything seasoning on top of that, some apples and peanut butter. And then these two just have the savory cottage cheese bowls along with one hard-boiled egg. So I'll probably have those. I have the other two hard-boiled eggs here just to have on the side somewhere. And then I figured that for these two, the fruit to go with them, we could just do some of the strawberries and blueberries that I picked up. So bam, that is one breakfast down. All right, so next up we're gonna make some DIY yogurt parfaits. Now I know this is really simple, but don't discount something like this because it is cheap, it is easy, it is delicious, and especially if you're someone that has to travel to work every day, it keeps you from going through the drive-thru at Starbucks and getting a breakfast sandwich. So we've got our Nature Valley granola, our Chobani Greek yogurt, berries that I washed, blueberries, strawberries, and then we're also gonna do a couple of apple cinnamon ones as well. Those are really good. I'm excited to share that with you guys. Okay, so let's start with the apple cinnamon ones first. I'm gonna go ahead and take this apple and dice it into small pieces. Okay, so we've got our diced apple here. We're gonna use this obviously as the topping for the parfaits. I'm gonna squeeze some lemon juice in there. This will help keep the apple from browning. And then I'm also gonna drizzle in just a little bit of maple syrup, or you could also use honey. Okay, I've got some cinnamon. I'm gonna just sprinkle in a little bit of that. So we're gonna have kind of like a cinnamon sugar type flavor. I'm gonna stir this up and just let them sit while I prepare the rest of the yogurt bowls. Okay, next I'm gonna take some of my strawberries and just dice those up into small pieces. Okay, so I'm gonna make a couple of these parfaits in our little yogurt containers here that we got. So I'm just gonna put some yogurt in the bottom of those, and then I'll add some strawberries and blueberries. And then they come with these little trays that basically sit on top of the yogurt like that. So we'll just add some of our granola into here. And that just obviously helps keep it separate so that it doesn't get soggy. And you can just add it on top of there, put the lid on. Boom. Okay, we're also gonna make a couple of these in our larger containers. So we'll just spoon some of the yogurt in there. And then I'm probably gonna add half of the apples into each one of these. Then we're gonna add our granola over here. The other thing I like about doing it this way is that it does portion the granola out. So, you know, if you're like me and you like to eat a whole bag of granola, it's a great way not to do that. I think I'm just gonna put a tiny little bit of cinnamon over the yogurt. All right, so here are our yogurt parfaits. We've got the 2 apple cinnamon, 1 blueberry strawberry, and then I've got 2 extra over here, just smaller containers. But I've also still got some berries left, and obviously we have some granola left too. You can eat this with milk. It's really good. Actually put it in a bowl with some berries, add some milk just like cereal. Yum. So that was super quick and easy. And like I said, even stuff like this, it just saves so much time during the week. And also it ensures that you're not gonna go through the drive-thru and get a breakfast burrito from McDonald's, right? Okay, so for lunch, we're gonna make some copycat cool wraps. So if you never made these before, they're delicious. I'm gonna show you how. We've got some of the Joseph's lavash bread. Love getting this at Walmart for wraps, and specifically these wraps. We've got some of the traditional pulled rotisserie chicken. This is something I love to get at Walmart. It is a huge time saver in terms of meal prep or just whatever, really. Just having cooked chicken on hand is a huge time saver. We've got some of our coleslaw mix, green leaf lettuce. I went ahead and washed all of this and drained it. We have our cheddar jack cheese, and we're gonna dip these in the cilantro avocado ranch, or I guess it's not really ranch, it's just cilantro avocado dip. Okay, so for sure with these, you're gonna be able to make 4 really good sized wraps. Sometimes I actually eat half and save the other half for later because they're a little bit big. But you want to start with the wrap, and then these are also great to meal prep too because they don't have any sauce on them, like inside the wrap itself. They just have the dip that you know, the dressing that you dip it in. So if you do prep them ahead of time, they will not get soggy. Okay, so I'm basically just putting down a bed of lettuce. Next, I'm gonna add some of our rotisserie chicken. I'm just gonna shred it up and make sure it's in bite-sized pieces. Okay, and we're gonna sprinkle on a little bit of the cabbage mixture, some veggies. And then I like to sprinkle on a good amount of the cheddar jack cheese, but you can do as little or as much as you want. And then you're just gonna give this a roll. Okay, now if you're gonna meal prep these, I do recommend wrapping them in parchment paper so that they stay together. And also, if you order one at a restaurant, obviously this is how it's gonna be also. Okay, so this one I'm actually gonna serve right now, but I'll show you how I'm gonna meal prep them also. As long as you have a really sharp knife, you can cut right through the parchment paper. Bam. Look at that. Now we're gonna add some dressing on, oh my God, that's a lot. All right, so we got our chicken Cool Wrap, yum, and our avocado ranch. Adam's gonna eat this for lunch today, but then I'm gonna pack up a few for meal prep also, so I'll show you those as well. Okay, so I prepped up a couple more of these wraps in these meal prep containers that I got. So we just have our little wraps tucked in here. And then I put one with plain ranch because that's what Adam prefers. And then one with the cilantro avocado dressing. And then obviously we have some of our berries left. So I stuck those in there. So this will be 2 lunches for this week. And I do have enough to make one more wrap. I may do the last wrap, a barbecue ranch one for Connor to take for school this week. Okay, so we are gonna prep some like Southwest turkey burrito bowls. So I've got my ground turkey here. I purchased 3-pound package. I'm gonna use half of this for the burrito bowls and half of it for Stroganoff meatballs for dinner, which are really delicious. I've got some cilantro here and the rest of my cherry tomatoes. I think we're gonna make like some quick like pico maybe with that. Some taco seasoning that I had on hand. These, if you've never tried them from Walmart, are delicious. They're just seasoned black beans and they are really quick and easy to throw in burrito bowls. We use the rest of our cheese up, boil in a bag of brown rice. Super simple to make, very cheap and cheerful, great for burrito bowls or anything really. And then we're also gonna make like a quick cilantro avocado slaw to go with these as well. Okay, so I've got my ground turkey in the pan here. I've just got a little bit of avocado oil in the bottom just to keep it from sticking. I'm gonna season this with salt and pepper. Even though I am gonna add taco seasoning to it, I always just like to season it first just to make sure that it's not bland. So for this slaw, I'm not really using any particular recipe. I'm just gonna kind of wing it. So I'm gonna put some of my coleslaw mix or cabbage into the bowl here, and I'm making enough for 4 servings of these burrito bowls. I'm gonna prep these for lunch, but obviously you can make them for dinner as well. We're gonna chop up some cilantro to add in there because I think it's gonna give it a really good flavor. Okay, I'm gonna add some lime juice. This will kind of help to tenderize the slaw a little bit. Add some salt and pepper. Some of our avocado cilantro dressing. I'll just give this a toss. Okay, so since I've got these cherry tomatoes left, I'm just gonna dice them up and we're gonna mix them with some onion that I have on hand and lime juice and cilantro and make like a quick little pico de gallo situation. Okay, so we've got our tomatoes, red onion, cilantro, lime juice, salt and pepper, and that's it. Super quick and easy. And this is delicious with tortilla chips as well. Okay, so our turkey is cooked up. I'm gonna add my taco seasoning, and I don't usually measure because life is too short, as we know. Water. Okay, so I'm gonna put the lid on this and we'll let this simmer for probably about 10 to 15 minutes until it thickens up, and then we'll taste it and see if it needs any more seasoning. Okay, so our water is boiling. We're gonna add our 2 bags of boil in the bag rice. That'll be 4 servings. And then you can just cook these for about 10 minutes until the rice is tender, and that is all. Super simple. Okay, so rice is done. I did put a little bit of lime juice in there, some chopped cilantro, some salt, and then our turkey taco meat is done, and then we've got our beans ready as well. Okay, so I fixed up 3 of these turkey burrito bowls. The rest of the turkey and rice, I have 1 serving left. I'm gonna save that leftover for Kira's lunch tomorrow because she can take it in a thermos to school. But basically I added in each one of these the turkey taco meat, seasoned black beans, the cilantro lime rice, sprinkled it with some cheese. We put our pico in some little dressing cups here. I like to do that personally because obviously you don't really want to warm this up and you don't want to warm the slaw up, so I just find it convenient to pack it separately. That way you can throw this in the microwave and then top it with the pico and the slaw if you want to, or you could eat this on the side as well. But yeah, this is a super like easy, healthy, quick meal prep for lunch, and you could use any type of protein. You could do grilled chicken or beef or steak or even shredded pork if you want to. Really, the opportunities are endless. Okay, so for dinner we're gonna make broccoli cheese soup. If you have never made this homemade before, super easy, don't worry, and it's something that you can honestly pay a lot of money for if you buy it prepared or in a restaurant, but it is really actually budget friendly to make at home. So I've got my broccoli here that I washed and just chopped into florets. I've got some milk. I always keep chicken bouillon powder on hand to make chicken broth with for recipes, so tip there, rather than buying cartons of chicken broth all the time, that's a more budget friendly option. We've got some Parmesan cheese. I just had this left over in my fridge and this particular recipe calls for it, so I'm going to throw it in. I'll link this recipe that I'm using down below. Salt, pepper, garlic, my cheese that I picked up, heavy whipping cream, an onion, some butter, and we're gonna have some bread to go with it. Okay, so I've got my butter in a big Dutch oven and we're just melting that, and I'm gonna dice up this onion. Okay, I've just got 2 cloves of garlic here. If you don't have any on hand, just go ahead and use some garlic powder. I always have garlic on hand, so it works out for me, but definitely substitute if you need to. While the onions are cooking, we're gonna go ahead and grate our cheese. Here's a tip for you: if you're grating cheese on a cutting board, put a piece of wax paper down. Not only will it make for easier cleanup, but then you can also use it to transfer the cheese over to your pot. And specifically for broccoli cheese soup, if you can, try to use freshly grated sharp cheddar cheese because it doesn't have the binding agents and the starch on it that pre-grated cheese does. When they pre-grate cheese and they put it in a bag, they coat it a lot of times with, I think, with potato starch so that the cheese doesn't stick together, which is fine normally, but if you're trying to get it to melt really nicely, it's easier to use fresh grated. And this recipe calls for a little bit over 2 cups, so I just have a little piece of sharp cheddar in my fridge I'm gonna grate in there. This is a white cheddar. Okay, so our onions are soft. I'm gonna go ahead and add in some flour. I forgot to mention that you'll need that at the beginning, but I feel like most people have that on hand. This is a little bit less than a half a cup of all-purpose flour. Okay, this is cooked for about 30 seconds, so I'm gonna add in milk and our chicken broth. Okay, so while this is coming to a simmer, we're just gonna add our broccoli, and then I'm gonna put a lid on this and let it come to a simmer, and then we'll simmer it for about, I don't know, 10-15 minutes until the broccoli is nice and tender. And as it simmers, obviously, and the broccoli cooks, it will break down into smaller pieces. So this has been cooking for about 15 minutes. What I did was I just kind of took my wooden spoon and broke up some of the larger chunks of broccoli, and as you stir it, it will break up even more. If you like your broccoli a little bit more crispy, I guess you can simmer it for less time, but I'm gonna go ahead and add in the cream. And then we're gonna add in our cheese. So Parmesan cheese and then our sharp cheddar. Okay, so I added all of my cheese, some salt and pepper. You can just do that to taste. I probably added, I don't know, a couple teaspoons of salt, a teaspoon of pepper, and I'll taste it obviously before we eat just to make sure that it is seasoned adequately. All right, so here's dinner. We got our broccoli cheese soup. I did add a little extra seasoning to it, salt, pepper, tiny bit of garlic powder. I also added a little bit of mustard powder because I think that tastes good with the cheese flavor, and it's really good. And we have some bread on the side. You can obviously toast this up in the oven if you want, but I kind of like it soft so I can dip it in the soup, and you don't really need much more than that, although we do have some fruit left over, so we'll probably have that as well. But this soup makes a ton, so you can obviously, I don't know if you could freeze it or not, probably. You can obviously save the leftovers, and then you would have extra for lunches as well. That's really good, really filling. I highly recommend. Okay, so we're gonna make some chicken parm. If you've never made this before, it's super easy. I don't even use a recipe. I'll show you how. So we've got our chicken here. This is just some leftover mozzarella that I have on hand because I forgot to get some at Walmart. So hallelujah. We've got some grated Parmesan. We've got our breadcrumbs, marinara sauce, spaghetti. I'm gonna cook the whole pound of this, and then we're gonna need a couple of eggs and some flour for the breading. Okay, so in this bowl, I've just got about a cup of flour, so I'm gonna set that aside. And then you need some egg wash. So for the chicken cutlets, you're gonna dip them in flour, then beat an egg, then in breadcrumbs. I'm just add some cold water to this. Okay, I'm gonna beat this up. Okay, so for the breadcrumbs, I always use the Italian seasoned if I have them, just because you don't have to add extra seasoning, so that's nice. So I'm gonna put, I don't know, maybe about a cup, I don't know, maybe about half a container in there, and then you can just use whatever, you know, canned Parmesan cheese that you have on hand. And we're just gonna stir this up. Okay, so for our chicken, I am gonna season this just very lightly. So I just have like an all-purpose seasoning, salt, pepper, garlic powder on hand I'm gonna use. Flip these over. It's kind of hard to do this in the tray, but I don't want to dirty a dish, so here we are. Okay, that's good enough. So we're gonna set up our little breading station here. So flour first, egg, and then breadcrumbs, and then I have a skillet here with some, I'm using vegetable oil, but you could use avocado oil. You can also use olive oil, but I try not to fry at like high temperatures with that because it can burn. So I'm probably just gonna set this on, I don't know, medium-high heat and let it heat up. Okay, so super easy. You can just use a fork to bread everything because then it keeps your fingers clean. So we're gonna do flour, egg, and then we'll put it in the breadcrumb and just let it kind of sit while we bread the rest. And like I said, I love these thin cut chicken breast from Walmart because they are so easy and quick. You don't have to waste time trimming anything. It's a huge time saver. Okay, so you want to make sure that your oil is hot before you add your chicken. And we don't have to cook this totally all the way through on the stovetop because we're gonna bake it in the oven. So we're basically just trying to get a nice crust on the outside. Okay, so I've got a 9x13 oven safe dish back there, and I'm just gonna remove these chicken cutlets. It's harder than it looks to do this and hold the camera. I don't know why. Okay, so this is just my last piece. I'm gonna finish frying this one up and get it into the pan with the others. Okay, here's our chicken. So it's still warm. What we're gonna do is we're just gonna pour over a little bit of the marinara sauce. And you don't want a ton because obviously you don't want this to be like soggy, but you do want enough to make it saucy. I think I'm gonna leave this one without cheese for Kira, but then I'm just gonna put some mozzarella on the rest of it. So here is our chicken parm. I'm gonna stick this in the oven and probably bake this for, I don't know, 20 minutes. That sounds good. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and add my spaghetti to my boiling water. Stir that around. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is take the rest of my marinara sauce and dump it in with the cooked spaghetti, and the heat from the spaghetti will just warm this through. I'm also gonna kind of stick it back there by the heat that's coming out from the oven too. That'll help it warm up. And our chicken is almost done, and I found some garlic bread in my freezer, and I just gotta put the salad together and we're ready to go. Okay, so here's our garlic bread. I put it under a little blankie and some Caesar salad. Do you want some salad? And we got our chicken parm. Kira, I made this piece for you that doesn't have cheese on it. All right, so we are making for dinner turkey meatball stroganoff. And if you think you don't care for ground turkey, because I know that some people are like, oh, I only like ground beef, try this recipe because it's really good. And my family is not a huge fan of ground turkey either, but they really do like this. And ground turkey is much more budget friendly right now than ground beef. So I've got about 1.5 pounds of ground turkey in here. That's the remainder of the package. Some tomato paste. I put it in a mason jar here because I'm going to show you how we're going to make the sauce by shaking it up in there. I've got 1 egg. Just to make this a little bit healthier, I chose the whole wheat egg noodles instead of the regular egg noodles. These are Great Value brand and they're awesome. Highly recommend them. I've got some sour cream, breadcrumbs. Instead of chopped onion, we're just going to use some dried minced onion, dried parsley, some milk, and some salt and pepper. Okay, so I will link this recipe down below also if you guys want to make it. But in here I've got my turkey, breadcrumbs, salt and pepper, minced onion, parsley, milk, and 1 egg. And I like to just stir this up with a fork because I feel like it keeps the mixture light and still incorporates it together. And then I also don't have to get my hands messy. So I'm gonna mix this up, start rolling it into meatballs and get it into the skillet. Okay, so my meatballs are done sauteing. I turned off the heat and I just removed them to a plate here. And in my jar here, now the original recipe says to use a blender. I find that you really don't have to use a blender. You can just shake it up and then you're gonna whisk it up on the stove anyway. And I forgot to mention also, this recipe you can also make in the slow cooker or Instant Pot or the stovetop. So in here I've got sour cream, a couple tablespoons of flour, my tomato paste. I also forgot to mention I'm gonna add a little bit of beef bouillon, some Worcestershire sauce, and then paprika. And this water is warm just to help everything come together. So I'm gonna add that, put the lid on this, shake it up, and then I'll add it to my skillet. I'm gonna leave the brown bits in the bottom of the pan, and then I'm gonna pour in my sauce. See, actually, that's a clump of tomato paste, which I'll whisk up. I might add a little bit more water. I'll return the meatballs to here. We'll stir everything around, cover it up, simmer for 20 minutes. So my meatballs are simmering. I'm gonna turn this down even a little bit more. I just wanna make sure that they don't, you know, the sauce doesn't burn. But yeah, you're just gonna simmer them until they're tender and cooked through. Okay, so here are the completed meatballs. You can see that they turned out delicious. So we decided that we're gonna do something different for dinner tonight, but that's fine because these work really well as leftovers. So I just went ahead and transferred these into a foil pan. I'm gonna put some foil on this, stick it in the refrigerator, and then when we want to eat it later this week, all I have to do is pop this into the oven covered and warm it back up. It's already cooked. Super convenient. And then I just have to boil the egg noodles and cook my green beans. And that's it. I'll have dinner in like, what, 20 minutes? It'll be super convenient. And like I said, I really highly recommend that you try this recipe. Even if you don't think you like ground turkey, I bet you will love these. All right, so what was your favorite meal that I made out of all of these? Did you get any good ideas? Are there any that you want to try for your own family? Thank you guys so much for watching today. I always appreciate you supporting and watching my videos. I know that you have a ton of choice out here on YouTube about who you choose to watch. Don't forget to check out that link in the description box below for a discount on your next Walmart pickup or delivery order. It's 1010 and you're gonna get $10 off an online order for either pickup pickup or delivery of $50 or more. So make sure that you take advantage of that. Thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.